Welcome to tonight's Zoom, June 18th. It is Wednesday, and we have a full house. Thanks for coming. We have a special guest tonight, so please pay attention. Somebody that I respect very much. His name is Ethan. And the reason I respect this man is for one reason only, is when we started in OlyLIFE 3-4 months ago, there was not a lot of documentation on our products. Let's be honest here. Maybe in Asia, in Chinese and Mandarin, they had a lot of information, testimonials and product information. But in English, it was like very hard to come upon. Plus, there was a lot of things, like, can we use it for this? Can we use it for that? Now, like I said, we're not physicians, and we're not going to start getting into, yes, this can cure this can cure that. We're not taking that road. But we will share our testimonials of what it did for us, all right? But Ethan is going to share some technology of why this helps the body and why this actually helps your immune system or your body or your blood function in a way that it does help many features in your bodies. So please pay close attention to this man, a valuable house. And what I love about this man is every time I called him 3-4 months ago and I'd ask him questions, I said, listen, I almost feel a little bit ashamed because I'm calling you for help. I'm not on your team. You're not making any money from me. And you know what his answer was? Hey, it's not about making money always in life. It's about helping others, and life helps you in return, which I truly believe too. That's one of my big philosophies. And I know that many of you is the same thing because we attract those who are like us. So without taking more for ado, before we bring this gentleman on, I have another great friend of mine. His name is John, who is an amazing presenter, somebody that I've admired for so many years, that he's also very smart when he shares things, and he's very articulate. So without taking more time, John, take it away. It's all yours.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you for the introduction. I'm looking forward to hearing from Ethan very soon too. So I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak at, let's say, plus 1/4 speed. So I'm going to speak extra fast, so we give Ethan a little extra time. So if you can't understand me, it's not entirely my fault. I'm rushing what I'm saying. I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, thanks very much for taking time to be here. We hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're tuning in from. We are here actually to talk about some pretty exciting science. I'm a bit of a science buff myself, but when it comes to health sciences, I find it all particularly fascinating because it's so relevant to each and every one of us. In this particular case, I find it even more compelling because we're really talking about an amplified version of something that humans have known ever since humans have been walking the face of the earth. And that is the fact that the earth itself has healing properties. You probably know it as the Earth's electromagnetic field. Grounding is a common term. It's a real buzzword these days. There are grounding everything, grounding mattresses, grounding bed sheets, grounding yoga mats. You can't escape it, probably because it does some good. What we're going to be discussing today is an amplified, specialized version of that. Ultimately, one of the things that science knows keenly is that everything has a frequency, and that includes, of course, us as beings. We have a frequency, in fact, and the amplification of that frequency can do some wonderful things to our body. In fact, you can see many of them listed on the slide in front of you right now, including improving circulation, driving oxygen into the blood, improving your sleep, so a little more rest, detoxifying your body. What a wonderful thing that is. And doing all of these things and much more without additional drugs and chemicals. And what a blessing that is. Also, terahertz is a frequency, now part of this electromagnetic field. It sits somewhere between microwaves and infrared waves, and terahertz have some wonderful and unique benefits in their own right. One of the things I like to do before you get started is if you have a scrap of paper and a pen or pencil within arm's length, just go ahead and grab that, especially if you're here for the very first time, if you're here as a guest. And I'm sure our special guest is probably going to share some things you're going to want to scribble down as well. So the first thing I'd like to throw down on the piece of paper is a website. Now, this is a site that's been put together by the National Library of Medicine. It's a government site in the U.S. It's called pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, G-O-V. Now, the reason I'd like you to do this is so that never during the course of this presentation do you feel that you need to take our word for anything. you can actually cross-reference and check everything that we have to share. And one of the best places to do that is pubmed.gov, but of course you can also double and triple check. Go to your favorite search engine or browser, or check some other sites as well. So I'm also going to give you a few keywords to scribble down on your pad, extra things for you to experiment with when you're researching. Now, we're going to play a short video. This is only about 5 minutes long, but this is essentially going to be a PEMF crash course. And this is going to help bring you up to speed on the incredible value and benefit of this technology.
Still tired, even after a full night's sleep, struggling with pain that just won't go away, doing everything right, but still not feeling like yourself. You're not alone. This video will introduce you to PEMF, a science-backed approach to restoring energy, supporting recovery, and helping your body work better. It's safe, non-invasive, and has been used in clinical settings for decades. Thanks to technological advances, today's PEMF devices provide state-of-the-art solutions once limited to large clinical machines. Some models also feature patented technology designed to deliver precise, effective electromagnetic pulses for optimal results. PEMF therapy began in mid-20th century medical research, particularly in Eastern Europe. Doctors and scientists discovered that pulsed magnetic fields could stimulate cellular repair, reduce inflammation, and promote bone growth. In the early 2000s, NASA built on this research to help astronauts recover from muscle atrophy and bone loss in space, where Earth's magnetic field is absent. When astronauts spend time in zero gravity, their bodies suffer. NASA discovered that pulsed electromagnetic fields help reverse this damage, restoring vitality, bone density, and muscle function. If it works for astronauts in space, imagine what it can do here on Earth. Originally, PEMF equipment was room-sized and required specialized clinical settings. Today's devices are smaller, more accessible, and easier to use at home. Every cell in your body holds a charge. When that charge is strong, your body heals, performs, and regulates itself more easily. But when stress, inflammation, or age lowers that charge, recovery slows, pain lingers, energy fades. PEMF helps recharge that energy gently and consistently. 5 grounding analogy. You've probably heard of grounding walking barefoot outdoors to absorb Earth's natural energy. PEMF is like a more targeted, amplified version of that. It delivers those same low-frequency signals directly to your body anytime, anywhere. It's like having the Earth's healing energy at your fingertips. PEMF sends a series of low-frequency pulses through the body. These waves improve circulation, enhance oxygen flow, support detox, and help reset your body's natural rhythm. On a cellular level, PEMF boosts your cell's ability to produce and use energy known as ATP. Stronger, more energized cells lead to better health and faster recovery. PEMF has been FDA-approved since the 1970s for clinical use in areas like bone healing and post-surgical recovery. It's supported by over 10,000 published studies and more than 2,000 clinical trials worldwide. Today, PEMF devices are increasingly used around the world in hospitals, clinics, and homes as a safe, natural form of energy support. While PEMF is FDA cleared for specific uses, these statements aren't evaluated by the FDA to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. OlyLIFE's PEMF devices are certified for quality and safety through international testing standards, ensuring each unit meets strict wellness technology benchmarks. Most people haven't heard of PEMF yet, but those who have, many use it daily and won't go without it. Athletes use it to speed up recovery. Biohackers turn to it for enhanced energy, sleep, and long-term performance. And everyday people rely on it when nothing else seems to work. People often turn to PEMF when they're dealing with things like chronic pain, low energy, slow healing, aging skin, or poor sleep that doesn't improve, no matter how healthy their habits. Some practitioners observe that PEMF supports energy flow along meridian points, similar to acupuncture, though research is ongoing. If that sounds familiar, PEMF might be the missing piece your body's been waiting for. Using PEMF is simple. Most sessions last just 10 to 30 minutes a day while you read, relax, or work. No major lifestyle changes. No pressure. Just consistent, natural energy support your body can actually use. Dr. Cindy Hodgson, a physical therapist and exercise physiologist with nearly 30 years of hands-on experience, shares this.
I've worked with the body at a deep next level for decades. And what I've noticed with PEMF is something I can feel. When my patients use it before treatment, they relax more and their bodies respond better. Personally, I've seen changes in my own energy and sleep without having any major issues to begin with. Even post-workout soreness clears up faster.
It's not just about treating problems. It's about supporting the body's natural energy in a way that feels tangible, subtle, but real. PEMF has also been explored in depth by researcher and educator Dr. Bryant Myers, author of PEMF, The Fifth Element of Health. In his book, he explains why pulsed electromagnetic fields are just as essential to well-being as air, water, food, and sunlight, helping the body recharge at the cellular level. His work has helped bring more awareness to the everyday benefits of PEMF for energy, sleep, and recovery. If you're looking for a smarter way to support your energy, recovery, and long-term health, PEMF might be the upgrade your body has been waiting for. Experience the benefits once limited to big medical devices now in a compact, consumer-friendly form. Ask the person who shared this video how you can try it for yourself. PEMF Recharge from the inside out.
So that probably helped in a significant way, especially if all of this science, health science, is new to you. The bottom line ultimately is the research is ongoing and some incredible developments have happened so far. Now, there is a company, and the name of that company is on the screen, and they are specializing in decreasing the size of these units significantly, as you can see, and also increasing the potency of them. So we're very, very excited to have many people have been test driving this Tera P90 for some months now, but the science is absolutely incredible when it comes to both PEMF and terahertz in a single device. And this is one of the specific advantages to this particular product over some of the other technologies we talked about earlier in the presentation, because adding the terahertz brings an entirely new dimension to this product. So literally what we have now in our hands is a portable pain relief and recovery device. The other thing, of course, that you learned in that presentation is that there are benefits when it comes to inflammation. One of the great things about reducing inflammation in the body is it is not always, but often accompanied with a reduction of pain as well. And that's a very impactful thing. One of the most common benefits that we hear when people start using the product is rest, that they feel like they're getting a more restful sleep, or they're sleeping deeper, or maybe a lot of people are saying, I'm dreaming more. And perhaps that's because they are finding themselves a little longer in a stage 4 sleep. So they're recalling some of the things that they're dreaming. Of course, the benefit of being in a stage 4 sleep a little longer is that's when your body is healing itself. So any benefit there is certainly welcome. Boosting circulation and also supporting cellular repair. In fact, before I started using a product like this, I was more familiar with the process like you're probably familiar with, called apoptosis, where healthy human cells all communicate with each other, and then they decide to release or drop diseased or damaged cells, and then your immune system can certainly work to flush those cells out of your body. The reason that's important, of course, is diseased or damaged cells that continue to replicate themselves is sort of the precursor to tumor growth. What we're learning now with some very recent studies is that PEMF can actually assist in damaged cellular repair. That was fascinating to me. In fact, all the way down to the DNA level. I found that just absolutely so exciting to learn more about this. So not only can it activate, boost healthy human cells, but it can also assist in repairing damaged cells as well. The P90 Plus, think of this as the big brother or sister to the P90. So all of the benefits that that piece of equipment holds, this holds as well, with some very unique additions. You can see the handheld devices on the left-hand side of that image. Now, one of those devices is a 650 nanometer red light therapy wand. If you're unfamiliar with the benefits of red light therapy, go ahead and grab your scrap of paper and write red light therapy and health when you're doing your searches. And I think you're going to be fascinated with some of the things you find. Some incredible benefits both with skin and scalp health, also stimulating collagen, improving skin elasticity. This device would be like having a detailed spa features in your own home that you can use at your convenience. Reducing inflammation. Also benefits to acne. So if you have a child at that age, you may lose control of this thing. It might end up in their bathroom, but also reducing signs of aging in the skin. Now, in fact, if you look at the right-hand side of that photograph, one of those two tubes contains a water-based collagen product. And by applying that and then using your wand to massage that in your face, some of the benefits that members have been receiving, mind-blowing. Now, also, there is a terahertz wand that also is included. So electronic muscle stimulation is on the menu, and so is radio frequency treatment as well. So that wand you can in fact use while your feet are on the pads, and you could give yourself a specialized treatment with that wand. Perhaps you've got a sore elbow or a pulled muscle or a wrist that's been bothering you, too much time at the computer, any area where you might need some specialized terahertz benefit, you can use that wand simultaneously while you're treating yourself with the P90 Plus. Now we're shifting gears significantly, but this is an incredibly impactful piece of equipment as well. One of the things I love when I walk into the main room of my house where this is plugged in, that fresh smell that ionized air brings. So negative ions, if you're unfamiliar with the term or unfamiliar with the concept, just think the last time that you had a huge thunderstorm pass over your home, and the dark clouds all collecting, and the lightning is getting ready to start to fire, and the thunder is rolling. The rain is about to get ready to drop, and that really fresh smell. That's the earth, your neighborhood being flooded with negative ions. Well, this machine does something very similar in your home to the tune of about 200 million for every cubed centimeter. Wonderful. Now, there's also some very significant benefits here. It just so happens those particles can assist in neutralizing free radicals. And very, very similar to the same way that you're using antioxidants to help with your free radical load and give your immune system a little bit of a boost, this device can also bring some real benefit as well. Strengthen the autonomic nervous system, adding benefit to the immune system, again, reducing sleep, or apologies, reducing stress and improving sleep. And so this running all day long, first of all, the price of it, it's anybody can afford to get one of these into their home. And it's just a wonderful looking little device that can just run day and night for the benefit of everyone living inside your house. Again, another very unique piece of equipment. In fact, this is a world's first. This is an ultra-low 7.8 frequency PEMF device designed for your eyes. Obviously, macular degeneration is a real thing. Your eyes take an absolute beating. And as you get older, they take more of a beating. So this particular product can bring some very significant benefits. Now, one of the ways it does that, of course, is with PEMF, so improving circulation. But also, there is an inflammation factor. There's a massage feature to this. There's a heat feature to this as well. And so this is going to bring some wonderful results to a broad range of eye conditions. And in fact, if you consider just for a moment that the front of these are perforated, so you can actually perform a variety of different functions around the house. You could sit and watch television, you could browse on a computer, you could prepare dinner, do whatever you need to do while giving yourself an eye treatment. If you take a look at the last bullet, this is a bit alarming. The fact that we're spending so many hours with our smartphones pressed to our noses. And in fact, it's creating its own problems as well. Take a look at the last sentence. 80% of children in Singapore are showing signs of myopia. Now, 80%, that's 8 in 10. I guarantee you 30 years ago, that was not the statistic. And you can replace Singapore as a country with any other country there, because the reality is young adults and teenagers and children are glued to their phones in every country around the world. A lot of this is just eye strain. You're forcing your eyes to focus at distances they really weren't designed to focus at. And so this is certainly, if it's not an epidemic, and I don't think it is, but I would say it's certainly approaching one. Now, here's another, I'll tell you, this is another huge trend you could scribble down on your notes: hydrogen water bottles. You do a Google search for hydrogen water bottles, you're going to find them everywhere, manufacturing everywhere. Well, try searching hydrogen water bottle and MRET, or molecular resonance effect technology. Try to find a hydrogen water bottle with MRET as part of its features. Not easy to do. Well, it is now. This particular product is second to none. And in fact, while you're doing a little PubMed research on your own, type in MRET and then NASA, you know, the guys that strap rockets to people and fire them off into space. There is some wonderful research that is being done by NASA. In fact, with some research facilities, one of those is in Russia. And when you start researching MRT at NASA, you're going to see some incredible papers that are being written right now with this science. Now, one of the things that this is able to do is decluster water molecules. It probably would be reasonable to say, although I can't guarantee it, we're probably all walking around at various stages of dehydration. And so the better chance we have of hydrating every cell in our body, I think the better it's going to reflect in our overall health and well-being. So there are anti-aging benefits. There are hydration benefits. There is, even with the positive charge, there's even antioxidant benefits. So this is a wonderful product, again, to help boost your immune system, to help clean up free radicals. It's incredible. In fact, remember we talked about frequency and the healthy frequencies for all of the parts of the body: tissue, nerve regeneration, bone, connective tissues, muscle. And that is known to science. It certainly is known to the architects of these PEMF devices as well. Well, one of the things that a PEMF treatment is going to do is, in activating those cells, it's also going to make the cell membrane of each individual cell in your body more permeable. Now, that's significant, because what it means is the micronutrients and all of those things that your cell wants to have can flow more freely through the cell membrane. And it also makes it easier for that cell to get rid of its waste. So if each individual cell in your body can perform their functions better, you as an organism are going to certainly benefit. The very last product we want to talk about is something called the Terahertz Vitality Wand. This is a very, very cool product. It's specialized, and these terahertz waves from 3 to 3,000 micrometers across Asia. It's not as well known in North America, or let's say the Western world, but across Asia, this is often referred to as the light of life, because again, its ability to activate and charge healthy human cells, but also, as we said earlier, and was news to me, repair damaged cells. So this thermal energy transfer can bring all kinds of benefits to the body, reducing pain. Remember that. That comes from reduction of inflammation often, and also relaxing muscles. What's particularly interesting about this product is that how deep it can penetrate. So perhaps you have had a back injury or hip injury, you've had a joint replacement that just hasn't gone as well as you would have hoped. Maybe you have a muscle tear from years ago, or you have a bulging disc from some heavy lifting at work that didn't go right. Well, you can penetrate between 3 and 5 centimeters with this terahertz waves. Now, it also comes in its very sharp-looking case, a oscillating stand. So this way, you're sitting watching TV, you're reading a book, you're doing some other action around the house, and you can give yourself a specialized treatment simultaneously. So what a wonderful product this is. And again, incredibly affordable, and everyone in the house can benefit for this or with this for years to come. So one of the evidences that we have when the product is working effectively comes from people that maybe don't follow instructions as well as they possibly could. That's people that perhaps have a little bit more of a toxic load in their body than others, and they get on a high-powered device such as the ones we've been talking about, and their first response to you is, "I feel like crap." They got a runny nose. They feel like they've got a cold coming on. Well, when you start to use products like this that specialize in pulling toxins out of dormant fat cells, which your body often pushes them to essentially as a self-preservation mechanism, you start pulling those toxins back into your active system. If you don't give your body what it needs to flush them, you're going to feel, well, potentially you're going to feel rough. And so one of the things that we would encourage you to do is hydrate properly. Make sure you drink a decent sized glass of water before a treatment, and then follow it up with another glass of water. And just give your body all the resources it needs to allow these tools to do their job. So I suspect by now it probably has become evident to you that OlyLIFE is incredibly focused on taking this very healthy approach to cutting edge science. It's fascinating. It's a wonderful combination of these two areas. Now, let's talk a little bit about their healthy approach to science from a corporate perspective. First of all, 167 world-class patents. In fact, when you go to their corporate offices, you'll be met with this wall of patents. 143 countries around the world have received something from this company. More than $50 million every single month in revenue for a company that's, I think, still less than 2.5 years old, with research facilities in Sweden and in Germany, and Japan playing its part as well with rare metals to fit these machines. Also, testing and more testing and more testing. Every single piece of equipment, in fact, has tested very, very detailed, and certification to verify its effectiveness in what it is it's supposed to be doing for you, for your health and well-being. A lot of the largest European certification agencies, I suspect some in Japan, I'm not 100% certain, not Japan, across Asia, apologies. But the bottom line is every single piece of equipment OlyLIFE makes is tested very, very well. All right, so this brings us to headquarters. Now, we mentioned that wall of patents. You can, in fact, see that behind the Singapore headquarters door. Also, a regional office in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Indonesia, and in mainland China, with the rest of Asia being rounded out right now: Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, and Korea. And then take a look at those two flags in the middle, the United States and Canada. This is OlyLIFE's gateway to the rest of the world. So we're honored. Both our American and Canadian members, I'm sure, are thrilled that we are going to be the source of OlyLIFE products really to the rest of the world by focusing on the United States and Canada first. And there's going to be, I think, a lot of benefits that come with that. So this brings us to the point of our presentation that is my favorite. It's because we turn the time over to you. We get to hear from you in regards to your user experiences. In this particular case, though, we have something very special for you. There's a special guest that I'm very excited and looking forward to hearing from. Luigi, why don't you take control of the presentation and we'll move forward from there.
First of all, what a very eloquent, like always, I mean, you're just like clockwork. It's always perfect what you do. And like in the comments, some people said, John, I loved how John presents this, and John's the go-to presenters. So listen very carefully. I want to share something. I'm going to stop sharing the screen just a second here so I can come on. John, please stop sharing. I have a special guest tonight. Somebody that I respect very much. By the way, you're a co-host, Ethan, so you can come on. You can unmute yourself and open up your camera. A gentleman that I met 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, when I actually started our journey in OlyLIFE. And like I said earlier, there was not a lot of documentation on OlyLIFE. It's actually hard to get answers or things that you really want to know things about, except for maybe a lot of Asian and Mandarin, because that's where they're basically based on. So this gentleman has been a resource of help to all our community, to all of us, for so many reasons. Today, I wanted to bring him on as a special guest, not for a testimonial, but to share the technology of what is the PEMF, what is this technology, and why is it helping us? What is it actually doing? And I'll probably ask some questions here and back. Thank you so much, Ethan, for being who you are and also being very helpful. Like you said at the very beginning, I said, hey, I'm not on your team, but you're not making money from me. And you said, hey, that's okay. I mean, life is about helping people, right? And life helps you back. So that's what I respect about you. Thank you for coming, buddy.
Okay, well, thank you for inviting me. I didn't realize I was going to be speaking after somebody with a perfect presenter's voice, though. Okay, so just a little bit of background before I go into things. I'm a holistic practitioner, a nutritionist. I've been in this space 35 years, big fan of all things frequency. The P90, when I first came across that, it's actually the frequency device that does more for more people with better results than anything I've ever previously found. Now, before we got to the P90, we had the wand, and the wand was just terahertz. Of course, now the wand, John just spoke about the terahertz aspect of the wand, but it's actually PEMF as well. But the original wand before, it was only terahertz. And I used to see, even in the days when the PEMF, or before the PEMF was added, we used to see staggering results with the terahertz alone. Now, of course, we've got PEMF and terahertz combined. And what I want to talk about a little bit is what's actually going on, or at least one of the main mechanisms which it's causing all these incredible results. And it's a combination of PEMF and terahertz. Both of these frequencies are amazing in their own right. But if we talk just about PEMF, we're doing a disservice, because there's two different frequencies that are amazing that come together in both the P90 and now even in the wand. So what's it doing? Well, there's a whole lot of things it's doing, but I want to focus on one thing that's been mentioned, but I want to expand on that. And it's to do with circulation. So before we get to circulation, I want to just explain to people how important the blood is for health. Our blood is the most important system in our whole body for health. Why? Because every single cell in your body is dependent upon delivery of everything it needs via the blood. Okay, so every single thing that your cells need to be taken to it, that's down to the blood. Every single thing that your cells need to be taken away from it, that's down to the blood. So important is the blood that if you were to lose half of it very quickly, say you cut a main artery or something, you'd be dead in minutes. Now, most of us don't have such a bad experience as that, but a lot of us do have our blood not working effectively for various reasons, and we have poor circulation, for example. Poor circulation means that some of our cells are not getting adequate blood. If we're not getting adequate blood, that means we're not getting adequate nutrition, we're not getting adequate oxygen, we're not getting adequate immune cells, and we're also not flushing those cells of waste products and toxins. So that is very, very important. If we're not doing these things for a cell, the cell will become sick. Now, Dr. Otto Warburg realized and proved long ago that, for example, the prime cause of cancer is low cellular oxygen. So once the oxygen drops to a certain level, the cells start to struggle, and at the point when they would die, so maybe I should back up just a little bit and explain that every cell creates energy, and it does it with using oxygen to burn a fuel. The fuel is either sugar or fat. So the cell is making energy using oxygen, which we call aerobic respiration. Now, if the oxygen drops too much, that the cell's not got enough oxygen to make sufficient energy to survive, rather than dying, it switches from aerobic respiration to anaerobic respiration, which is fermentation, which is to make energy using fermentation. And when it does that, we call that cell a cancer cell. So low oxygen is a really, really big problem, and ultimately cancer is one of the problems, but there's many other problems. So we need to have sufficient oxygen, and it's the job of the blood to carry that. So what happens to the blood that stops it doing that? Well, there's various things that happen to stop the blood functioning correctly. And toxins are one of the big problems in the blood. But I think most people in this space probably have seen pictures of blood where the red blood cells are all sticking together in a roulage, what's sometimes called sticky blood. Okay, I think most people have seen that. So when the red blood cells are sticking together, that causes multiple problems. One of the problems is that the area is reduced, the surface area is reduced. And a second problem is that when they're sticking together, they now can't get into the small microcirculation. Okay, so now you start to get poor circulation to usually the extremities, feet or hands and so on. So that's what happens when the red blood cells stick together. Most people are not aware of what causes red blood cells to stick together and how that's linked to the P90. So I want to make this very, very clear. The red blood cells stick together because of a deficiency, and the deficiency is not a mineral or a vitamin or an amino acid or any of these things. The deficiency is a voltage deficiency. It is low voltage. Every single person who is sick has low voltage. You can think of a human as like a salt battery, and every single red blood cell is a little battery cell, and it has a positive and a negative charge. And the charge, when the voltage is correct, much like two magnets, when you push them together north to north, south to south, they push apart. When the voltage of a red blood cell is sufficient and correct, they will push apart, and that keeps them separated and flowing through the fluid that we call blood, and then they work properly. But as the voltage drops, the pushback gets less and less until they eventually stick together, and now you've got blood not functioning correctly. So one of the ways that I like to see the P90 is as a human battery charger. You stick your feet on it, it puts voltage and frequencies into you which raise your cellular voltage, raise your blood cell voltage, and that increased voltage helps the red blood cells to begin to separate and do their job properly. Now, once the blood is doing its job properly, that means, as I've already mentioned, that we now have an increase of the things that the cells need being taken to them. So we have an increase of nutrients being taken to the cells, we have an increase of oxygen, we have an increase of immune cells. So all of that is going to really help the cell to be healthy. But even receiving everything a cell needs, if you can't remove the waste products created by this metabolism, then you've got a problem, and even more so with toxins that may have come from other sources. You have to be able to flush them. So once the blood is effectively working and flowing correctly, then what happens is you not only get the things your cell needs, but now it flushes the toxins and waste products out. Sometimes I like to think about it like a toilet cistern. If you flush a toilet when it's only half full of water, you don't get a proper flush. And you can literally flush 5 or 6 times or more to get the same as you would get from one flush with the correct amount of liquid. So it is when the blood is working properly and flushing correctly, it's going to flush the toxins out. And that's why some people who are very toxic, if they do too quick, too much, the toxins are flushed out, and those toxins are now in the blood and can potentially cause a Herx reaction. And it's why we do need to be careful that we don't do too much too quickly, and we need to take precautions really. For example, the one that most people know about and talk about is increased water intake. That helps with the whole flushing. But we need to go according to what our body can handle. So, and that's why. So it's a flushing process. So aside from its mechanism of improving the circulation and the outworkings of that, which is to say the increased nutrients, oxygen, and immune cells wherever necessary, we're also removing the toxins, and the toxins are ultimately the cause of all chronic disease, along with deficiencies. And deficiencies are in large part in the modern world are also a result of toxicity, because when your body is toxic, when your cells are toxic, it inhibits its ability to absorb the nutrients. Okay, that's not just in the digestion, but even in the cells. So toxicity results in many problems, and one of them is the ability to use nutrients. But at the same time, because you're toxic, your body needs more nutrients to fight the toxicity. So at the very time you need more nutrients, you're getting less nutrients. And the P90 helps with all of this. So to sum up then, what I'm really saying with this, the P90 through just this mechanism, and there are other mechanisms, there are other things that it does, there are frequencies, some of the frequencies are healing through other means, but just this one area, just increasing your circulation and the outworkings of that, of increasing the nutrients, the oxygen, the immune cells, and the flushing of toxins, that alone is responsible for a massive amount of the improvements that we're going to see in everybody's health. But also it has the potential to be the cause of herxing, which is not a problem as such, as long as you control it and you don't do too fast. So anyway, I just thought I would explain that aspect of the P90, because it's something that a lot of people don't understand and don't realize, and it's something that I love because, you know, it's so simple and beautiful what it's doing in the body. So I hope that has helped everybody.
First of all, stay there because I want to ask you a couple of questions. And tonight we'll just bring on one more testimonial after I speak with Ethan. I have my good friend also from Singapore who will be coming on right after. But just before that, I want to just ask a couple of questions. And, you know, worst case scenario, we'll keep the rewards part even smaller tonight, because this is so much more important, because at the end of the day, we're all here for one reason. It's for health. And that's why everyone that joined OlyLIFE in our community was, first of all, was for the health side. I mean, I'm not going to get into my big testimonial. We've all heard it more than once. But when Ethan is talking about all the benefits, I mean, you just have to look at this quick picture of myself right here, and you can see a picture of before and after. That was Luigi like 8, 9, maybe 10 months ago, until my friend Bob reached out to me 5 months ago on Zoom, and he said, "Man, you look like crap." I said, "I don't just look like crap. Well, I just want you to look at 270 and 205. But it's not just my weight. It's everything. It's my head, my state of mind, my depression, my I had a beginning of little bit of a numbness in my toes. I had dark shades on my feet because at the bottom of your limbs, that's where, people get sick. Why do they get amputated? So, I mean, it starts with the bottom of our limbs, and everything that Ethan has been talking about now gives me an understanding of why my limbs got better, why I was able to shed more pounds. Now, the machine by itself did not make me shed those pounds by itself. The reason I shed those pounds is because of diet, because of exercise. The one thing that this technology did to me, Ethan, was it gave me the strength, mental power, the focus, the energy. I mean, like just a procrastination, like to be able to do what I know that I should do, because most people know what we should do, but it's like nobody's or almost everybody's not able to do it. That's how we are humans. We're geared like that. So this has completely revamped my bike. I've shared my story many times, so I won't get into too many details. One thing I'd like you to understand about the P90, I'm glad that we have an expert on it. By the way, Ethan was promoting also before the OlyLIFE products had another similar machine, okay? We won't have to say any names here. From another company before that was actually using the same kind of technology, but was much more expensive, if I'm wrong, right? Yes. And it was actually also less reliable a little bit as machinery. So when Ethan found about OlyLIFE, he was actually one of the first people that got OlyLIFE to send these products over to the US. That was 2 years ago. That even though Ethan and his team have made these products come to the US, there's nobody that has really hit the horn like at a marketing standpoint and really blown up Canada, the USA, or else we'd already have a corporate office here. But it doesn't matter. That's where we are right now. I'd like you to understand one thing about the technology is this. We're actually detoxing our bodies, which is a good thing. But some people are more toxic than others. Some people are sicker than others. And that's why we always tell everybody, and even Ethan told me at the beginning, don't tell anybody to start at a certain frequency. Actually, everybody should start low and work their way up. Why? Because if I'm right, even though you're getting rid of toxins, some people are getting rid of too many toxins, and sometimes they can have a rash or they can have some kind of, how do you call them, quirks or
Herxheimer's reaction. Usually most people just call it detox symptoms.
Okay. And the reason he explained is because when you're detoxing your body, of course, your body is losing with your urine by your sweat, right? That's what you explained to me. But sometimes when you're detoxing too much, well, it finds other ways of coming out, correct?
Yes, yeah. It doesn't necessarily even come out, but it can cause. So what happens when you get toxins coming into your body is going to want to remove those toxins, and you're going to detox naturally, and you do that mainly through bowel movement, urine, perspiration, etc. You've got detox pathways. However, if you have too many toxins and the P90 is flushing a load of toxins, it might be too much for some people. Then what happens is the body can't get rid of all of those toxins fast enough. So what it does is it basically moves it to another part of the body and stores it in your body. But so you're just redistributing the toxins if that's the case. But also it's going to use methods that it doesn't normally use, like your skin. It's going to push more toxins out through your skin. So you might get rashes, you might get flu-like symptoms. All of these things can happen because the toxins are too high. That means you're going too fast for your body's ability to handle it. You need to cut back, or you need to do things to help your body deal with those toxins.
And it's very important to understand, because Angelo was on the call. He told me, he says he was using the P90, the ordinary one, and he never had any issues. Then he got the P90 Plus, and he started to use this frequency of the P90 Plus the same as the P90. And all of a sudden he started having flus. He never gets sick, this guy says. I don't understand why. Like, I'm getting healthier, and all of a sudden, so that's the why. So his toxins were coming out as a flu or other means. So what it does mean is that you need to be a little bit conscious of that when you're using these devices, please start low and work your way up. If you start feeling anything, it just needs to come back down. There are other means of detoxifying too that are beneficial using a P90, but that's another subject by itself. For right now, we're talking about the OlyLIFE products and what it can do for you. As you can see, it can help you from A to Z on pretty much every issue, because I know that there's a lot of restrictions that say don't do it for this, don't do it for that. And we're not doctors here, we're not physicians, and we're not going against anything that anybody says, especially at the corporate standpoint. But when you understand the technology behind it, it kind of makes sense that it can help pretty much anything. But with a sort of reasonable voltage. You understand? Like if you're somebody who's really sick, well, yeah, you know, you might want to use it low and use it less longer, if that makes any sense. And yeah, just be smart about how you use it. If you want to give some last thoughts on that, I want to thank you so much. I mean, this has been very valuable for our community to understand the why, because everybody understands that it's working. That the why, like I would always say, it helps gives oxygen to our blood, and our blood is the root that attracts all diseases, chronic, because all the toxins that when we're young, we're younger, we don't feel them as much, but as we get closer to 50 and 60, those toxins start affecting us, and that's what attracts all these chronic. So my explanation was a little bit, let's say, simpler than yours. But
I just like people to understand some of the key mechanisms, and especially now our blood is under such attack. First of all, there's a lot of people that have been injected straight into their blood with a whole bunch of toxins. But on top of that, we've got the chemtrails, which are all nanotoxins, which go straight into the blood. And then there's many other mechanisms for toxins going straight to our blood. So our blood is under attack, and we have to do something about it. And the P90 is one of those great tools that really, really helps to improve the state of our blood, charge up. That's a big deal, charging up. It said, I think one of the slides right at the end there that John did, it said about recharging. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's a recharger. We're a battery, and it's a recharger.
Thank you so much for your valuable information and being part of our new founded community and our friendship, because I have a feeling we're going to be working closely together because you have a lot of knowledge. And, our community is all about being healthy. And, just like today, we're talking about quickly, you told us to put a little bit of salt in our water. Why? I mean, we mean normal salt? No, not normal salt. What's the salt again you told everybody to put in their water?
Any good unrefined salt. So I like Bajar Gold, but the most popular tend to be Celtic salt or Himalayan salt. But an unrefined salt, yeah.
Just a little pinch in your water is actually very beneficial for you, because the normal salt that we're getting is not good for you. So I mean, all these little things that we're going to be getting out of Ethan that we'll be able to share with the community moving forward. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, and so do many of us. Thank you so much, Ethan.
My pleasure.
We will continue with one more testimonial from Singapore. The person who actually introduced me to OlyLIFE is this man here. For some reason, he called me 6 months ago, and he looked at me on, like you saw the picture of before and after, and he says, "Luigi, you look like crap, man." I said, "I don't just look like crap, Bob. I feel like crap." So that's when he said, "Well, you need to look at this technology in Asia. It's very strong." And he sent me it, and everybody knows the rest. How are you, Dave, Bob?
Good, thank you. Wow, it was very enlightening from Ethan, and also I want to greet everyone good evening or good morning for some. So fantastic presentation by John and sharing by Ethan. And a few months ago, I met Luigi. We have known each other for almost 10 years, right? But on off, and then we caught up on Zoom, and I saw the Luigi a few months ago. He was very different. The Luigi that I know is like strong, lean, mean, previously very energetic, but when I saw him a few months ago, he wasn't like that. But today, the Luigi is like even better than what I've seen him many years ago. So that is good, and I'm glad that the P90 helps him. Now I'm wearing a G1. I started OlyLIFE not with the P90, but with this G1 because I saw the market potential of this so-called goggles, because 80% of the Singaporean children are myopic. I come from Singapore. I'm a Singaporean myself, although I graduated in the West. So when I saw this, I say, well, let me give it a try. And it was very nice because the massaging was excellent. There's compression, there's heat, and actually I can do presentation and I can see the presentation at the same time, because these tiny holes are holes that are actually patented, and this is the smallest device with PEMF. And when the PEMF runs here over the eyes, it also helps with your head, your neuro, etc. So fantastic. And what happened is when I used this product, I felt that once I finished this 15 minutes of duration of dosage, hey, I see things clearer. And so this is very good for people who uses the phone, the laptops. Like John said, six hours we spend on mobile phones, etc. This will help your eyes, and it's also very good for those who drive long distance. Just take a break, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I think you continue with it and you feel a lot better. Now, I wanted to share a bit on the P90 because only with this G1, I started with the P90. The first feel was that it was good, it was great. I feel better. I don't feel as tired. But next thing I found that my blood pressure came down, my sugar level came down. Now, I used to do the spaceship, the big bed, like what was shown on some of the presentation. It was so big. And now I have it, everything under my feet. So I had that transformation. I really slept on that and I felt it was good, but I felt very claustrophobic because you are encaged, right? But does it help? It does help. Now, then I found that the P90 was a very good replacement for this. And like what Ethan said, drink a little bit of salt because I remember, actually, I forgot totally. But during then, when I was sleeping on that spaceship, right, the big one with PEMF, so you lie down and it's like a bed that covers from your feet to your neck level. The lady told me that you should try with the Himalayan salt. Drink a lot of Himalayan salt. So just that now that I heard it again, it kind of like recall. I kind of like recall what was being told to me, and the greatest testimonial that I have is my mom. My mom used to walk this way, and after using the P90 machine, she's more upright, not 100%, but she's like that right now. So this is the biggest gift I think I give to her recently. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for introducing me to this and me introducing it to some of my people and so on. And this community has grown out of proportion. Today, we're going to shorten it up. I want to share just one little part that will take 2 minutes at the end. We're going to skip the rewards plan because I think that today's Zoom was very exciting to have. First of all, great product review from John, some very important information from Ethan, a great testimonial from the person who actually introduced all of us to this here in America. Well, at least our team, because there's other teams like Ethan also. But to be able to collaborate with Ethan health-wise to help our community, pay close attention. There's going to be a lot of nice little things that we can do to improve our health moving forward. And yes, natural, whatever. Listen, I think John said it many times on one of his slides. When you're using the P90, and a lot of people are eating healthy, bio, supplementing themselves, it's just enhancing everything that you're doing. So when you're trying to be healthy, it's not just one thing in particular. It's a combination of so many factors if you're really trying to make yourself healthy. The P90 by itself is a wonderful machine, but when you combine that with good eating, with exercise, with other things that you might need in your health, your life, when you do all of that, then it becomes a monster that can change your life and can actually rewind your clock and maybe even get rid of sicknesses. All right. Now, we're not going to go too far in that because everybody is different. So I have just one last thing I want to do just before doing that little 2 minutes. You can see here on my, let me just log into my phone here. I am on my phone, share. I want to share my screen here, right here. I want to show you something because you're wondering, what am I doing right now? Right now, I'm on the P90. So here, let me take this off. All right, I'm on the P90. I just want to share my screen here so you can see my feet. All right, my feet are on the P90. Oops, sorry, the light went off. I'll just put it back on here. Doesn't matter, it'll still work right away. I finished my session. So what's happening when I have my feet on the P90? Is it vibrating? Like, like that Chinese video, the guy who's sharing the feet that massages, help circulation. No, this is doing a lot more than just massaging and giving vibrations to your feet. This is, if you look at my leg here, I have a frequency tester. right here. If I put it on my leg, look at that, the light comes on. This is a frequency tester. So there's something happening. There's frequencies going up my legs all the way up to my brain. That's why I got rid of a depression with this. Now, if you want to see it one more time, look, if I take my foot off the machine, it goes off. I just wanted you to kind of see it visually to understand what's happening here. I want to get into one last part of our presentation for the part that maybe some of you don't interest. So let me just share a little bit about it. Basically, this technology works. When I was on the machine for about a month, I had to tell everybody about it. And the same thing with many of you that have been with us for a couple of months. Once you started seeing the improvements, you all wanted to share this. It's just like seeing a good movie. What happens if you see a good movie? Well, there's a good chance that you'll want to tell everybody around you, hey, your mother, your sister, when you get home, you have to go see this movie. That's how we're wired. Human beings are made in a way that we like to share what we like and we love. It's natural. Well, imagine that this works for you. You're going to want to share this, but you don't have to be a marketer for that. And if you share it, guess what? You can get paid. Now, what I love about the OlyLIFE products is there's no auto ship. You buy whatever you want. It's yours for life. There's no auto ship. There's no renewal next year. And guess what? Everybody in your family can use the same machine, right? You have a P90, everybody can use it. So what happens if you share it? I have a little blueprint that we created, me and John, and with other leaders also. I don't want to in any way take a spotlight from all of our leaders, because like today we did a beautiful training with Malik. It was really, really good. I was impressed myself. And Malik actually blew me away, man. I prepared him some bullet points, and he just ran through that like if he had practiced for days and days. This guy is a machine, man. So I want to show you something here based on a small little strategy that we wanted to create for everybody. First of all, you join OlyLIFE, right? With $1,000 or more, whatever you want. You find just two people, and you help them succeed. Now, I'm just talking about two because the average person has a hard time getting one or two people. So when you're telling people, like, I'll give you an example. How would you like to make $500,000? So what do you mean $500,000? Yeah, no, I'm serious, $500,000. Well, what do I need to do for that? Do I need to sign up 10 people, 20 people? No, all you need to do is sign up two people for $500,000. Are you serious? Yeah. So we'll take an example here where you sign up for a P90 or whatever. We'll just keep it at $1,000 so the mathematics is easier to explain, okay? You sign up with $1,000. Guess what? You find two people, one on the left, one on the right for $1,000. You're paid $75 for each person, because the fast start on 1,000 is $75. If they join with 2,000, it's $2,000. So everything you see in this diagram depends on the money that people join. All right. So we're just going to keep everything at 1,000 so we can make the mathematics easy to understand. Now, those two people, since you have one on your left, one on your right, you also make a tier bonus of $375. So you already got half of your money back. Imagine you just started. You made $500 and you spent $1,000. Not too bad, eh, with two people. Now, those two people, we're going to tell them the same thing. How would you like to make $500,000? All you need to do is find two people. Not your mother that's not going to find. I mean, two people that want to find two people, right? Well, they do the same thing. Guess what? You have one on your left, one on your right, another tier bonus of $375. On your third level, they do the same thing. You have four people on each side. But since you have one on each side, you make another $375. Now, this is where the fun kicks in. On your level 4, you have the binary that kicks in. So now you're making $375 for one left and one right, plus all the extra members that are on one side on your pay leg is $577. Now, let's go down 6 levels. 6 levels is a big whopping $7,000. Now, $7,000 may not seem like a lot. It's not going to change your life, quit your job, buy a mansion, but my God, it'll help a lot of people. Some people are having a hard time paying a mortgage. Some people need to change their car, get it fixed. And some people have promised their spouse that they bring them on a beautiful exotic island 25 years ago, but never were able to do that. So 7,000 can solve a lot of problems. And all we did was find two people that found two people, 6 levels down. It's pretty nice. Now, there could be people that are going to find more than 2, and you'll make more money. People that will join with more than 1,000, you'll make more money than them. So we're just keeping it all simple. 2 people at $1,000 each. What happens if we go down 12 levels? We're not talking about 25, 50, or 100. We're just keeping it very simple, 12 levels down. What kind of money would we make if everybody just found 2 people? Well, the binary would be $397,000. So if we resume the mathematics here, you signed up 2 people, you made a fast start of 150, 75 each. The tier bonus was 375. Remember, 1 left and 1 right. 12 levels down is 4,500. The binary now, all the way down, 12 levels is 397. Then you also have a coaching bonus or a matching bonus that kicks in at 130,000, which makes a whopping $500,000. Now, I'd like to finish on one note. Yes, it seems like a lot, but it's actually very doable. It's doable because when you have the right community, the right leadership, the right mindset, everything's possible in this world. We're creating our lives. You're the producer of the film. You decide if something happens or not. The only person stopping you is you. Nobody else can stop you. What I'd like to make you understand now, let's put this reasonable in a time frame. You order the machine, it takes 2 weeks or a week to receive it. Sometimes if you're unlucky, 3 weeks, but let's just say you get the machine and you test it out for a couple of weeks. It takes a month and a week. Then we take another couple of weeks to find 2 people. So let's put it down 2 months. Okay, that's like we're giving everybody 2 months to get the machine, try it, find 2 people, 2 months. Well, 2 months, 12 levels down is 24 months. Well, that's 2 years. 2 years to make $500,000 is $250,000 a year. Not too bad, eh? Well, how about if it even took longer than that, where everybody took 5 months to get 2 people? It would take 5 years. Well, it's still $100,000 a month. Pretty nice, eh? And guess what? When you have all those people down 12 levels, even if it took 5 years, it's not going to stop there. It's going to keep on growing even faster. Because once you understand this tier bonus, it's unlimited levels. The binary is unlimited levels. Plus, every year they're coming out with new products. In July, they're coming out with 2 new products, in case you didn't know. So every time people are going to buy new things, and the comp plan goes to infinity. So I want to thank everyone who came on today's call. If you like what you heard, get back to the person who invited you to the call. Just try the machine. I mean, we can talk about it as much as we want. We can share as much documentation as we want. We can bring as many experts as we want. But the real person that you want to convince is yourself. And the only way you're going to convince yourself is if you actually try. That's what pretty much all of us do. So peace and blessings, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow for our USA Fast Track. If you have anybody in the USA, remember that we're having a Zoom Tuesday and Thursday. It's always at 8 o'clock like this, Monday to Friday. But Tuesday and Thursday is Fast Track USA. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is our normal Zooms with beautiful testimonials and wonderful speakers. God bless everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.